Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to the stars of Las Vegas, and we've got two for you today. David, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
And the delicious Jordan, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
It's really nice to see you, and here we are at Magic Mike Live. I came to see this, I think, in 2017, and I gave it a 5-star review, and it's now the #1 review on Google anywhere in the world, and I stand by it. This isn't just a strip show, it's a variety show, a talent show, and a huge production, right?
Yeah, I mean, it covers a lot of bases. I mean, we try to please whatever audience comes in these doors. So it's a place where anybody can really come, get a great show of variety, feel comfortable, have fun doing it. So yeah, I don't know. And Jordan here being the female MC kind of cuts any tension that kind of happens and guides you through the whole night. So
you're Mr. Delicious, and that's easy because anybody can be hot, as I prove. But your job is tough because when a woman walks out in front of 250 women, you've got to make them feel comfortable and not intimidated. And you do it so joyously when I saw you last week. And I think it's probably the hardest gig in the show because if they don't like you, then the whole show's destroyed.
That's right. I think that is totally true. There's no denying that that's true. I will say, the way that I look at this job is, yes, I get to hang out with a bunch of hot guys every night, which is lovely, but also I get to empower 200 to 400 women every night. So, or twice a night, in fact. And what I think is really exciting is when the show starts, there's some fun stuff that happens, but I think it puts the women on our side, on my side. I think they kind of see me as the girl you want to have a drink with after, you want to grab a beer and you want to go shoot pool or whatever nonsense you're up to. And I think that once they realize that I'm just like you, I'm just here to have a good time and feel like my best self, I think it changes their whole mentality of what they're walking into. Especially when you see the words Magic Mike Live, of course you think it's a strip show, but what you don't necessarily know is that these guys they're so talented. They've danced with the biggest stars in the world. They've played the biggest stages in the world, and they're here doing this, and they happen to be taking their clothes off, but it's not what makes the show. What makes the show is I think the talent and the empowerment that the women leave having.
I mean, there's a look about you guys which is incredible, and you look amazing, but in your case specifically, you're so talented and you blow people away with your voice. Firstly, congratulations on that. It's a world-class voice.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it, and I mean, I'm just happy to be in the show doing what I love and able to, I guess, what makes it so gratifying for me is giving that empowerment, giving that feeling of being comfortable for everybody who does come in here and sees the show. I've been singing for years, but it's, you don't always get this kind of platform or opportunity to do it in this kind of a space. I'm so thankful to the creative team for that, Channing for bringing me on, Allison, Teresa, and Luke, and it's been a fun ride so far, so I love it.
And it's also the framing and production of this show. I mean, it could be done cheap and they'd come anyway because Magic Mike Live is a brand, but they make it look so beautiful. And before the show even starts, this is a sexy atmosphere and you're in the mood for cabaret before it even begins.
Yeah. It does sort of have that old sort of...
Our designers are actually
upstairs
they're here right now. So
there is that sort of old cabaret, in its truest sense, Berlin cabaret when it was really sexy. When you walk in, you feel safe, but you feel naughty. I remember the first time that I walked in, I walked in through the front. I didn't come in through the backstage. The first time I saw the show, I said, I want to do it the same way that everybody does it. And I walked in and I remember seeing all the lights on and thinking oh, this is going to be different. And I had already been in rehearsals, but even seeing the space with the low lighting and there's a fog of sexiness that just lives in this room all the time that I think also gives you permission to feel sexy, which I think especially for women right now, it's really hard to allow ourselves to just feel sexy in public and just own that. And I think when you walk in this room, you immediately have permission to do so.
Sexy Fog was my name in the club in the 90s.
Oh, look at that.
Sexy Fog is going to be, I hope it becomes my nickname,
Sexy
actually.
Fog. That might become your nickname.
I would like that.
There's one thing I've got to say about this show that I don't like, which is the double standard of this show. If I behaved in a female strip club the way that you guys behave in this room, I'd be kicked out. It is extraordinary what you get away with, and it's magical. I mean, if guys think they're going to get nothing out of coming to see this show, trust me, it is the most... The word explicit is perhaps too dramatic, but you get to do stuff that would never happen in the reverse where women are dancing for men.
Yeah, I mean, and you realize that pretty quickly, and when you sign up for it, you kind of know it comes with the territory. And I mean, Channing said it from the very beginning: equal objectification, and that's kind of, I mean, yes, if we were to go into a female strip club and do the things that sometimes happens in here, we would be arrested probably. So, but going back to that, the double standard, and some of the things they're not as ridiculous, but you know, you get people coming in here and they don't know what the line is, and they're feeling great, they're having a great time, they're in a safe space, as we've said, and they just don't know where the line is. So sometimes they cross it. You just got to do it in kind of a cheeky way, be like, you can't do that. But there's a way to handle all that too. You can't just blow up in somebody's face because they don't realize what's allowed and what's not. So
we better not say blow up in people's faces at Magic Mike Live. This could be a whole new scene.
It could be a whole new variety act.
It could be. No.
Talk me through some of the scenes, because I mean, this show crescendos. It's like an Il Divo concert where everything gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then the next one's bigger than the last, and it gets bigger till this end, which is just this orgy of light and sound and fun and everybody having a great time. And you drive that. I mean, your responsibility is to make sure this is a party and work the room. I'm aware there's a script, but I mean, that's not going to work every night, is it?
That's right. It's, you know, when I was in rehearsal, we were talking about the story of the show a lot, which in a very loose frame is teaching this guy, Mike, what all of our pleasures and desires are. And in teaching him, you know, empowering ourselves as women by doing so. So there is a script, there's a story that I have to tell, but every once in a while you'll have something that happens
that's
where
the beauty of immersive theater.
I mean,
it changes every single night.
I think that's what's smart about the people that they've cast in the show, is that you cast people that can roll with the punches. You cast people that are smart and fast on their feet. Because there are going to be nights when you tell a joke and boy, you feel like you're in the basement of a comedy club in the West Village in the early days of comedy, and you're like, well, I would rather go home and die than try and tell another joke. But there are some nights where it gets the biggest laugh. It's like anything with live theater. You just have to be ready. But I think that I'm lucky because I have the permission to let the show breathe a little bit and change it as it goes. And you know, hopefully, usually, I will say, in my experience so far, there hasn't been a hiccup where everyone hasn't gone along for the ride so far.
And let's talk about confidence, because I don't even show my arms in public. I mean, you get to stand virtually naked on a stage and do the most incredible things to titillate these women, and your confidence as a comedian, where do you get that from? Because you could easily lose face, because you see these people intimately, you see the reaction on their face. If they're not into it, it could affect you.
Yeah, I mean, you have those days. You definitely have those days, and you have those days when you'll come in and you'll get audience members, especially like in meet and greets, who won't necessarily say the nicest things in the world, and sometimes it just blows your mind. You're like, wow, I mean, the audacity that people have to just kind of nitpick, and I'm here to make you feel comfortable and make you feel good, but you know, it flips on you sometimes. So, but I
bet you've never been called a ginger fat pig, though.
I mean, no, see, growing up,
twice through the casino, Jordan.
No,
I don't believe that at all.
Not that.
You got
ever.
that shirt. You couldn't make that happen. I think for myself personally, I've in self-confidence, I've come a long way. I grew up being made fun of all throughout grade school, college, whatever it was, and then I started getting gigs and doing shows and just putting the work in, and my confidence has definitely grown. It's, you know, it's still not 100% as, I don't know, anybody. Exactly. So, but you have to let things roll off your shoulders some nights, and just, you know, you're here to perform. You get, as I said before, the end goal and the most like gratifying part of it is making people feel good. So the ones who don't make you feel good, you got to push those aside and focus on the people that really get something out of this show.
Well, I'm so glad to know that he gets abused just like me.
Yeah,
it's humbling.
Don't worry about it.
All the time.
I'm humbled because I had never heard that before, and now I feel like better about myself.
Yeah, this is doing me great tricks.
There you go.
I like this. And the framing of the show, I mean, you've worked big arenas, you've sung all over the world with the biggest stars, but there's something about the framing of this show. You're never going to look better, are you, because of the size of the room and the type of lighting.
True. The lighting does a lot for you. The light, I mean,
they are magical. That is movie magic in 3D. I mean, honestly, when you see those, I mean, listen, everyone is very attractive, but to be like the only woman, one of two women in the show proper, it's humbling to just like be around all these babes all the time. And what I will say is, yeah, they look great up close. Absolutely, 100%. We all
Lights do.
But boy, I'll tell you what, we all look
under a blue light.
like we've been retouched. I mean, those lights are. But it says so much about the production value, right? It says so much about the designers that they brought in with the lights and the set, and no stone left unturned when it came to detail. And I think that really also makes our job easier, because you're not like, it's not like a straw and a match and a rubber band.
Do that again.
Okay, it's like this. I just was thinking like spinning plates, but I was thinking about spinning a fiery rubber band and someone being like, Vegas, because I feel like that is happening in a show somewhere. Yeah, that was the song I was playing. My dog is in the background, like
doing backflips.
Yeah, and so I think that
we don't have to work that extra
we
mile
just have
to
to come in and do our thing.
They make us look really
Yeah.
great by just having this gorgeous set to be in. So.
Yeah.
And it is Broadway standard, we should say that. I was there opening night in London just a few months ago
really?
when Shannon was there. And again, they've done the same thing. This room is even more special, I think, because the girls sit around you. And as I said in my review, probably deliberately, this is like a boxing ring. And the spectators are watching you.
I love that.
Isn't it though? Truly, I mean, you can see it behind. It's this boxing ring in the middle with them all sat on the outside. Yeah. And the screaming when this show starts. I mean, have you thought of wearing earmuffs or something? It's loud, right?
We all have like personally designed earplugs, because the low hum of the room starts and then does not stop until you get home and you put on Netflix. Like, it is real. But I do think, like you said about the boxing ring, I think that when you see, if as a woman in my having seen the show before I joined, I think when you see other women loving it and losing their minds and just kind of like living their best lives, it encourages you to do the same thing. Yeah. So it's not like you have to look behind you and see, is the woman behind me having a great time? No, I see she is having a great time. She just ordered a third drink and she's having the time of her life.
It turns into a mob mentality, and that's what I mean, like any audience, and that's where the energy comes from. So feeding off of one.
Can I ask you a very personal question about your cocktails? They're enormous.
They're enormous.
It's a bathtub with a straw in it.
Yes, you don't know whether to sort of have a swim or have a drink.
No, I mean...
Our goblets, our chalices.
Yeah, it does. It feels a little bit like sexy medieval times.
It kind of,
You're at a sexy Ren fair. Who knew?
I saw them slurping away on them the other night when I sat at the back watching this show. And again, it's a party. I mean, with the drinks and the atmosphere in the room. I suppose the problem is getting rid of them at the end, because nobody wants to leave this room, do they?
I mean, it's meant to feel like a club. You're walking into a club. You're not... I mean, you are watching a show, but at the same time, you're here to have a good... People are standing up. They're dancing, sometimes in the aisles, sometimes on stage.
Sometimes
they try to bombard the stage. Exactly.
Absolutely.
So, it's a good time.
And to look like you, I know we could be twins, but to look like you, how much work does this take?
Oh man.
Why did you bring up the ginger thing?
I wish I had ginger.
This is a hate crime,
I love gingers.
I'm not a witness. My eyes are closed.
I'm not one of those people that says gingers don't have souls. Oh man, I guess everybody has their own regimen. So I try to get to the gym as much as possible during the week, like 5 times at least. This shows a lot of cardio, so at this point it's kind of just maintaining muscle mass. But I think we all joke coming into rehearsals, we're all like a lot bigger as far as like muscular structure goes, and then we start doing rehearsals for like 8 hours a day for 2 weeks straight, and you're just like slim down. So I mean, the show really does help, but also just keeping your body in check. I think injuries is another big thing, and just listening to your body and not making yourself hurt too bad. So
what are you most? Are you obviously a great singer, but are you beautiful or are you a dancer? I mean, what is most important? I think it's a dancer, because unlike other shows,
say beautiful first. That's what I want.
Should you say delicious instead?
I'm going to say that no matter what he says, I'm going to tell everybody backstage that he said beautiful first.
No, I think the dancing part is it. I mean,
there's no faking that, right?
No, I mean, I don't think so. The lights can only do so much, and I think everybody in this room works really hard to be where they are today, and everybody's trained from whatever age they've been working at, and it's really I don't know. It's a great feeling when you can execute it really well, and when you can get people such as yourself coming in and saying that it is a great show, and that's a big part of it. It's not just a strip show, so. it feels really good. So.
I honestly think the stripping is the least important part of it. Truly, maybe it's from a guy's point of view, but those ensemble dance numbers, they live up to anything I've seen in 15 years of reviewing West End and Broadway. The choreography is truly beautiful.
Yeah.
It must take forever to get it that good.
Yeah, it's Alison Falk, Teresa Espinosa, and Luke Brodlick, and then Channing as well directing it. They're legends in the dance world, dancing for Janet, original Janet, Brittany dancers, and they kill it with the choreography. It's amazing, and just to be able to do what they've planned is awesome. So, and I'm so happy to be doing it. But they're great.
And finally, tell me that Channing's a complete arsehole, because one person shouldn't have everything, should they?
You know what's funny? I'm going to let him speak on Channing, but that's actually what I say about the show. I think the show is like Channing in a show. It's so sexy, it shouldn't be as funny as it is. Because that's when I think about Channing, I'm like, you shouldn't be funny in 21 Jump Street. You shouldn't be funny in She's the Man. And he's funny like he's ugly. And that's kind of what I think about the show.
It's like I dream that he has a micro penis or something, just
Something
because
like
it's...
that, because the truth is, I think that is the thing about this show, is that it is like Channing. It is too funny to be as sexy as it is.
He's the nicest guy you could have for a boss, I think. And he like his instincts on the show, and it's one thing to see him act in movies, and then you get him doing the live show like this, and seeing how he works, and like in the moment, and just has like an idea, and then it comes to life, and you're like, oh wow, that actually did work, whether you believed it was going to or not. Just the nicest guy. So
I'm so depressed.
I'm sorry to say.
And he's still like a part of it. I'm the newest cast member. Most of the amazing humans in this cast have been around for 2 years, and I am the newest MC. And Fresh Meat. That's also my nickname. Sexy Fog and Fresh Meat. But what I will say is, like, even in my audition, he was the one that watched my tape and said her. Like, she's the one. Yeah. So I will say, like, he's still, it's not like he disappeared. Like, he's proud of what he put his name on.
And what a compliment. As I say to anybody who's amazing, I've met a ton of big stars in the last 4 weeks. They could pick anyone and they chose you. Congratulations. You're both stunningly talented.
Thank you.
This show is magnificent,
Thank
creatively,
you so much.
productively, and you get to see guys taking their clothes off.
It's a really good time. I
so
love
depressing.
my job.
I've never been more miserable.
Sometimes people ask me about my job. They really do ask me about my job, and I can't tell them anything but I'm living my dreams. I'm making jokes. I'm watching hot guys dance, and a lot of the time they're dancing like for me. You
need to calm down with that scene a bit.
Yeah,
it's a bit
honestly,
too much.
I know. I'm so aggressive. I'm different now that
this is a job and work, right?
No, I don't understand. What's work? I don't get it. But it's true. Like, this job is bananas. If I had made it up in my head, it would not be as good as this actually is.
Sound crazy.
You know what I mean? It would sound crazy. Yeah. It would sound insane. That's true.
It's that synergy of having the right crowd in the right room with the right show, with the right creative team, the right everything, and it all comes together, and that alchemy is beautiful. Congratulations. It's so lovely seeing you both. Thank you for your
so
time.
much.
Have a wonderful show tonight.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks so much for coming back.